Hey everybody, and welcome to my playthrough of The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, the game that many consider to be the best video game ever made, and a game that I regard as a pretty good game that exists. Alright, jokes aside, this will be a prequel series of sorts to my Majora's Mask Let's Play that I did on my main channel, and even though I have a lot of criticisms for Ocarina of Time, I don't think it's anywhere close to best game ever made at all. I do really like the game, and so I think it is important for me to show my love for it in the form of a playthrough like this. This will not be nearly as edited as the Majora's Mask series, because this is Omen C2 and we don't do that here. And I also probably won't go for 100%, but I will still aim to complete the majority of the content within the game. So we'll be seeing a lot of side quests, a lot of optional stuff, a lot of item collection, whatnot, yada yada. Anyway, yeah, this will be a fairly lengthy series, probably around 15 videos, I have no idea. Anyway, let me press start to enter the file select screen before the game switches over to showing one of the late game cutscenes. For some reason on the menu, it spoils one of the late game cutscenes. I don't understand that decision. That's the first of many Ocarina of Time decisions I don't understand. Alright, look at this, 3 save files, it's very nice. Majora's Mask only has 2 because they needed the extra RAM to fit the owl statue save system in that version. Alright, I have to get used to how weird my control is set up. I do not want I do not want mono sound. Switch that back, thank you. Okay, yes, save that, that's good. Alright, file 2. Link? Nope, that's the wrong button. I gotta get used to this game's control scheme again. I wish you could use this, I wish you could use the D-pad on this screen instead of just analog stick. I know the N64's D-pad was very far away from the analog stick, but that's not my fault. That's the fault of freaking Nintendo, who designed the controller in the first place. Alright. 0, 0, 0. 3 hearts. Those zeros are very ominous. I wonder what they mean. Let's get into this. In the vast, deep forest of Hyrule, long have I served as the guardian spirit. I am known as the Deku tree. The children of the forest, the Kokiri, live here with me. Each Kokiri has his or her own guardian fairy. However, there is one boy who does not have a fairy. Navi, where art thou? Come hither. Oh, Navi the fairy, listen to my words, the words of the Deku tree. Dost thou sense it, the climate of evil descending upon this realm? Malevolent forces, even now, are mustering to attack our land of Hyrule. For so long, the Kokiri Forest, the source of life, has stood as a barrier, deterring outsiders and maintaining the order of the world. But before this tremendous evil power, even my power is as nothing. It seems the time has come for the boy without a fairy to begin his journey. The youth whose destiny it is to lead Hyrule to the path of justice and truth. Navi, go now. Find our young friend and guide him to me. I do not have much time left. Fly, Navi, fly. The fate of the forest, nay, the world, depends upon thee. No pressure! Hello, Link, wake up! The Great Deku Tree wants to talk to you. Link, get up! Hey, come on! Can Hyrule's destiny really depend on such a lazy boy? You finally woke up. I'm Navi the Fairy. The Great Deku Tree asked me to be your partner from now on. Nice to meet you. The Great Deku Tree has summoned you, so let's get going. Right now. Link just stares at her in awkward silence, as that's the only way she could think to end the conversation. I understand, Navi. I kind of like how the first camera angle in the game is like a top-down perspective, just like all the previous Zelda games were, back on those 2D consoles like the NES and the SNES. I mean, this is never mind the fact that you can change it to this. But if we ignore that fact, it's kind of like it starts out just like the previous Zelda games, then you step out the door and... Whoa, it's all 3D! It's so cool! I kind of like that. This was a relatively, 3D console games were a relatively new thing at the time this came out, which was 1998. I mean, they weren't that new, but still, it was pretty somewhat new. Yahoo! Hi, Link! Who are you? I've forgotten you, I'm sorry. I'm the player, I don't know about you. Wait, no, I'm not climbing down that ladder correctly. I have to do it the cool way. Oh god, I haven't played this game in a spell. It's gonna take me a while to get used to the controls. There we go! Backflip down the ladder like the cool kid we are. Wow, a fairy! Finally, a fairy came to you, Link! Wow, that's great news, I'm so happy for you! Now you're a true Kokiri, Link! What does that mean exactly? Like, how was I not a true Kokiri before? But just because I didn't have a fairy flying around my head? What do the fairies actually do for the Kokiri, I wonder? Is that right? The Great Deku Tree has summoned you? It's quite an honor to talk to the Great Deku Tree. But he's just in the other room. Don't y'all talk to him all the time? I'll wait for you here. Get going. Go see the Great Deku Tree. He's literally like around a bend. I don't see why going to greet him is such a high honor when he's just like... he's down the next block. Okay, nothing behind our house, huh? I like this adorable drawing of like a dinosaur we have here. I don't know what the thing next to it is supposed to be. A fallen angel that kind of looks like a halo above its head, and then it has a weird stick arm. It looks like it has wings of some kind. I'm not really sure. Yes, Navi, I know. Alright, so here we are in Kokiri Forest, our home village. Though Link has been around here many a times in his youth, we have never been here before, so we're gonna go around and ask the locals where we should go next. Okay, I think if you pay attention to the cutscene, though, you do know that, I was trying to look in that direction. Navi, yes, I'm aware, thank you. Anyway, Navi came from there. You can even see the top of the Great Deku Tree over there, in all of its billboarded sprite glory. But, oh my god, the camera turning. They refined the controls a little bit for Majora's Mask, and that's mostly what I'm used to. Oh, a fairy finally came to you. Now you have a lot to learn. Is having a fairy the only way I can learn? Is that who they are? Are they teachers? If you're wondering why I'm asking about what the fairies do to the Kokiri, it's because the game never explains it. I'm not really sure. It's like a guardian fairy? Is it just like their equivalent of parents? I'm not really certain. Anyway, I guess now that I've pointed out where the Great Deku Tree is, we should start by just heading over there, seeing what we have to do. Because, like, all this stuff, we can check it out later. It's an adventure game. We're gonna be backtracking anyway. What's this sign say? Just ahead, Great Deku Tree's meadow. Alright, we can automatically jump over the water like so. Hello there. You can see this guy, this chump, is blocking our way. Hey you, Mr. No Fairy. What's your business with the Great Deku Tree? Without a fairy, you're not even a real man. Well, I wouldn't be a man anyway because I'm like 10 years old. What? You got a fairy? Say what? The Great Deku Tree actually summoned you? What? Why would he summon you and not the Great Mido? This isn't funny. I don't believe it. You weren't even fully equipped yet. How do you think you're going to help the Great Deku Tree without both a sword and a shield ready? What? You're right, I don't have my equipment ready, but if you want to pass through here, you should at least equip a sword and shield. Sheesh. Why exactly do I need a weapon before seeing the Great Deku Tree? Is he gonna try to kill me? Alright, well, now I'm a little more afraid of what this journey entails. Okay, so that is our goal. We must find a sword and a shield somewhere. We can get started by looking at some of the houses around here and maybe asking this kid what's up. Maybe there's a sword lost in one of the bushes somewhere. My goodness, it took me way too long to say that. That meanie Mido made me cut all the grass at Saria's house. Mido told Saria he would do it so she would like him, but I'm the only one doing all the work. You and Saria are close friends, so will you help me cut the grass? I'll let you keep anything that you find while cutting it. Well, sorry, I don't have a sword, so I can't cut it. Can I grab it, though? No. Too strong for me. Alright, whose house is this on the far left here? The house of the twins. Who are the twins? By the way, these pre-rendered backgrounds, I don't want to, like, jump straight into criticizing this game, but I think one of the things about it that really hasn't aged that well is the visuals. I gotta be 100% honest with you. I don't think the graphics have aged well, and this is an example of that. Like, oh my god. I know, it's intended to be viewed on a CRT screen, which blurs the crappiness together into an image that actually looks decent, but still, we don't use CRTs anymore, so the graphics have aged poorly. Just like, that's just a fact. Alright. Hello, you are one of the twins, I presume. My sister took some rupees and went shopping at the store that has a red roof. Speaking of rupees, a green one is worth 1, a blue one is worth 5, and a red one is worth 20. So a lot of these people you can talk to in the Kokiri Forest. I hope you don't mind if I break your pottery, do you? No? Okay, thank you. I'll take your rupees. A lot of these people you can talk to in Kokiri Forest have a lot of information about the game. This is basically the game's tutorial, and I think it's actually a really interesting way of doing it. The tutorial is not forced upon you. There are some tutorials that are, but not every tutorial is. And I think this is really cool and even considerate. Unfortunately, later Zelda games didn't take the hint and force a lot more of their tutorials on you, which I think is a little strange. It's probably a result of, what am I trying to say? Oh yeah, it's probably a result of people who played Ocarina of Time not actually reading the tutorials and not knowing about that mechanic as a result, so they're like, hey, we should maybe force some of this info on the player in the next games. I can understand that, but still, I think it was done a little better, in this game, the tutorial at least. You've been called by the Great Deku Tree, what an honor, he may give you Okay, I also don't mean to jump right into criticizing this game. Again, I will reiterate that, but this right here is my #1 issue with Ocarina of Time. Look at how slow this text scrolls. You cannot speed it up in any way. Okay, well that's a kind of a lot. You can press B, and that will autocomplete the text. In some text boxes, though, it will like skip 5 text boxes at once. Let's see if it does it with you. No, okay. Does anyone have multiple lines of dialogue that I can skip? Hey, by the stone, pick it up. Hey, by the stone, pick it up. All right, let's try it on you. That didn't work. Okay, well, trust me, whenever you're talking to someone who has multiple text boxes, pressing B can sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes, skip past all of them. Which is not really ideal. When I want to read each text box individually, I don't want to skip past all of them, so it's like, you have to pick one of 2 evils. One, you skip all the text, all the dialogue a character has, or you read it as it slowly appears character by character on the screen. Both of those options absolutely suck, and I have no idea what the hell the developers were thinking with this. Honestly, like, there is no excuse for this text box system. About the yellow icons, about the blue icons. Let me see if I can skip past this. Yeah, see? I press B there, it skips everything. That's not what I want. I want to auto-complete the dialogue so I can read it, but it doesn't let you do that. If you want to read each dialogue box, you have to wait for it to appear. I have no idea. I have no fucking idea why they chose to do that. For 1998, that's bad. That's a really badly designed system. And this is, honestly, I genuinely think this drags the game down on the whole. It's not a huge issue. It doesn't make me hate the game, but still, it's like, I have to wait for all these options to appear too. It's one of the biggest friggin' issues with this game, in my opinion. Anyway, though, I'll have plenty of time to complain about it later, so I'll move on from this. You know how to use the up button? Yes. Oh, I said no. Well, if you play around with it, you'll figure it out. Okay. Wait, you didn't give me... That guy didn't give me any information, but the others did. Interesting. So those guys were just telling you about the HUD and, like, what the buttons do, but I think it's pretty easy to understand. The blue button there is your action button. If you press A, it'll do whatever it says. You know, attack. That's what your attacks look like. What do we have here? Hole of Z. Let's go through this small hole. Stand in front of the hole and push the blue control stick towards it. Aw, man, my control stick is black. I can't play this game. When action icon shows enter, press A to crawl into the hole. Pay attention to what the action icon says. Man, now I'm just thinking of Billy Mitchell and the red control stick. Alright, let me take a drink of water real quick. As some ominous rumbling appears in the left ear. What do you say? Viewpoint with Z targeting. When you have no object to look at, you can just look forward with Z. Stop moving and then change the direction you are facing or hold down Z for a little while. This can help you get oriented in the direction you want to face. It's quite convenient. If you hold down Z, you can walk sideways. Walking sideways can be an important technique in dungeon corridors. Wow, way to spoil. I'm going to be going through dungeons later in this game. Come on, man. Alright. Anyway, yes, pressing Z will center the camera. This is basically your only form of camera rotation. It might sound cumbersome, but it works fine enough. Well, it kind of is cumbersome because it's not super programmed well. Like, there's sometimes, I think if you tap Z, if you tap Z and then continue moving, it won't actually center the camera. Like, let me try to do it again. Hold on. Yeah, there, it just reset the camera to what it was before. So it's a little weird. I think they cleaned it up in Majora's Mask quite a bit. But still. Anyway, this here big boulder. This is our first source of danger in the game. You want to know how much damage it does? Why don't I show you? 1/4 of a heart. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the first Zelda game to actually measure your health in quarters of a heart. Every Zelda game previous only did like half a heart at minimum. Hello there, visit the House of the Know-It-All Brothers to get answers to all your item-related questions. No thanks, I think I'm good. I already visited them and their text boxes were too long. Anyway, our first magical chest opening animation with the iconic theme. Got the Kokiri sword on the equipment subscreen. Select it with the cursor and equip it with A. This is a hidden treasure of the Kokiri, but you can borrow it for a while. Be sure to practice with it before you really fight. See, I read way too fast for this game's text speed. I am like... There's been times reading the dialogue of characters where I've had to pause for a bit and wait for the words to appear. Like, it goes way too fucking slow. I don't know. Anyway. Here's the inventory screen, which also takes forever to enter, but it's fine. We have different subscreens. This is the main item screen. We don't have anything here yet. We have the map. We're in Kokiri Forest. Neat. Quest status. We haven't even started our quest, so that has nothing for us. And then we got the sword. Beautiful. Now we can swing with it with B. I will cut down this boulder for daring to deal 1/4 of a heart of damage to me earlier. It's honestly such a weak boulder, just dealing 1/4 of a heart. I mean, get used to that. A lot of things in this game deal 1/4 of a heart of damage for some reason. I don't really get it. Alright. Crawl back through here. This is such a great song. I love it. Switch targeting. If you see an arrow icon above an object, you can target it with Z. In other words, if you press Z when you see an arrow object above an object, you can lock... Did you just say this? If you press Z again, the lock will either release to it or transfer to the next object with the arrow above it. When you have many enemies in your field of view and you want to escape, press Z while holding back on the thing to cancel targeting. I have the control set up so you have to hold down Z to keep a target. If I release Z, then it will just, it'll just stop locking on. But you can switch it to be like, press Z once to lock on, press Z again to switch targets or stop, depending on if there's other targets around, in the options menu on the save file screen if you want. What do you have to say? Hey, let's work on some moves. To jump sideways while Z targeting, press A as you move right or left. To do a backflip while Z targeting, press A as you move backwards. To do a roll attack while Z targeting, press A as you move forward. While you roll, you can avoid damage. If you have your sword ready while Z targeting, you can do a jump attack by pressing A. A jump attack does double damage. You can use Z targeting on the stone next to me. So let's practice. Alright. I think if you do each of the things he says... Okay, not in that case, but I think... I want to say if you backflip away from it... Yes, indeed, you will get rupees for it, which is pretty good to know. Are there rupee objects in multiple directions? I'm not really sure. Maybe it's only if you backflip at once. Now let's do the jump attack like you said. There we go. Very cool. I think you said to do some other stuff, but honestly, it's fine. We don't need to hear all of it. Cut grass with your sword. You can do that. If you just press B on its own, you'll do a horizontal swing. If you're locking on, you'll do a vertical swing. And if you're moving and you swing, you'll also do a vertical swing. Then I think this we'll talk about. That's not what I meant to do. This is thrust attack signs. Alright, you're encouraging me to freaking cut down the signs and make someone have to rebuild it all over again. Cool. So you just lock onto something, move towards it, press B, you'll do a thrust attack. That was not a thrust attack, but it was close enough. Yeah, cool. The different attack formations don't really matter too much, but sometimes you can miss an enemy by doing the wrong one, so it is at least good to know that it exists. Over here, we've got another guy blocking our way. Forest folk shall not leave these woods. I see. Have you ever left the woods? You're not allowed to leave the forest. The great Deku tree said that if a Kokiri leaves the woods, he or she will die. Oh, we'll see about that. I've got a map screen that shows the majority of the world outside the forest uncleared, and I plan to clear it. We're gonna see if the Great Deku Tree's words are true. Alright, I didn't read whose house this is. Ah, this is Mido's house. He's got a lot of treasure chests because he has a freaking massive ego. Let's open them. This one is 5 rupees. Cool. This one has 1 rupee. Now, what are we collecting all these rupees for? Well, I guess we should take a visit at the shop someone mentioned and see why. That's another 5 rupees, and in here, we already got one of these earlier, but this is a recovery heart. If you pick up one of these, your health is refilled by 1 heart. He's got a freaking big stand podium that he stands on to look almighty and tall and proud to the other Kokiri. And then his bed is right there, just lodged in the corner. Alright, cool. So we just stole all his money, but that's what he gets for blocking our way. Alright, honestly, before I go to the shop, it's hard. It's hard to decide, but I think I actually want to go up here first. Climb this ledge. You can find rupees scattered all over the forest. Like, see, there's a blue rupee behind here. You're basically encouraged to explore the forest to get enough rupees to buy a certain something we are going to need. I bet you can't guess what that certain something is. But yeah, I really like this opening section because, like, all the tutorials, all the little signs I've been reading that tell you how to move and attack and whatnot, those are all optional. If you just want to, like, collect the sword and shield as fast as you can, there's nothing stopping you from just running past everything and getting them. The Lost Woods. Interesting. What about this weird-looking stone over here with a smile? This statue's one-eyed gaze pierces into your mind. Please stop reading my mind. That is an invasion of privacy. Fuck you. I think if you hit them... Yes. Boing! Boing! The current time is 12 o'clock! Wow, we woke up at noon. We really were sleeping in. I like that. Alright. This here is the Lost Woods. There's not a lot we can do here, but you do have access to it straight from the beginning. But as I said, there's not a lot to do here. You can go left or right. If you go to the middle, it's actually a wrong path, and you'll be kicked back out into Kokiri Forest. And that's the main deal with the Lost Woods, is you have to kind of find the right paths through to get to certain places. Such as this guy, who stands still and stares at us when we're on the stump. We see what Navi has to say about them. Skull Kid, is this what happens to kids who get lost in the forest? He might be our friend if we do something. Like swipe a sword at him? Yeah, no wonder I haven't made too many friends in real life. That's the first thing I do. I think if we get too close... Yeah, he flees. He flees and disappears into nothingness. Just like all the other Kokiri were doing out in the woods. I don't know if that's supposed to be like a magic forest thing or if it's just game limitations. Probably just game limitations. Yeah, as I said, we can't really do anything here. I just wanted to show you can go here if that's at all interesting to you. So yeah, let's just head back out and I will demonstrate. This is the wrong path. That door over there is the way we entered. This is not the way we entered, but it takes you to the same place anyway. Takes you right back out into Kokiri Forest. Alright. I like how there's green stuff on this wall, and then the green stuff on this wall is sinking into the floor there. Interesting visuals. Alright. I don't think we've been inside everyone's house just yet. Let's see. I do kind of want to explore the whole Kokiri Forest before we move on. Just because I feel like doing that. That's just how I like to play games. Let's see, where's the house that has, yes, this bridge connected to it? I believe this here is Saria's house. Indeed. By the way, sorry if I'm mispronouncing some of the Kokiri's names. Like, I know some people pronounce Mido's name Mido. I just personally prefer the name Mido, so that's what I'm gonna go with. You can stand on her chair. So Saria's house will always have 4 recovery hearts for you, which is more than we need because we only have 3 hearts, but I mean, it's very nice of her to put that there. Oh, and you can get a top-down view. I didn't actually know that. That's cool. So each of these houses probably have like a top-down view version. Does Mido's house have a top-down view version? Now I want to see. Hold on, real quick. Real quick. There we go, not real quick. We're gonna go back to Mido's house and see. I have to know. Also, Mido's house is way smaller on the outside than it is on the inside. Oh my god, it actually does. I had no idea. I mean, it makes sense because Link's house has 2 different camera modes, but I didn't think all the houses did. That's cool. Okay. So one more thing I would like to do is climb Saria's house. Got a weird little slope here. Oh yeah, I can cut the grass for this guy. This poor guy. Except I can't cut the grass that he's trying to pick up. Unfortunately, I can't cut him either. That would be pretty mean and murderous of me if I could, so yeah, I'm glad for that. Can I climb this? Oh, you can. Okay. Looks a bit steep of a ledge to climb, but yeah, if there's a ledge that's short enough, you can't just walk up against it to climb it. All jumping and whatnot, all like vertical movement is done automatically in this game. It's not like a platformer where you can press a button to jump. It's like a Zelda game where you don't press a button to jump. God, stop walking off. I'm not editing this series. Every time I make a mistake on a platforming sequence like this, you guys have to watch me go back up every single time. There we go. We got the bridges. It's actually kind of hard to stay off them. It's kind of hard to stay on them, as you can tell. I like I'm just carrying my sword around. Let me stand still for a while so I can put it away like that. Why is getting on this bridge like the hardest thing? Man, at this rate, this series is gonna take freaking 30 videos to get done. I don't expect it's gonna be much longer than the Majora's Mask playthrough, even though Ocarina of Time does have a longer main quest overall. Hello there. You came all the way up here. Or, with a question mark. See, it took way too long for the question mark to appear, so I gave it the wrong tone. How fucking dare you, game? Look, isn't this view pretty? Change your viewpoint with C up so you can look around the forest with control stick. It is pretty cool. It was probably a lot better looking back in 1998, but actually, I don't know. The Kokiri Forest is one of the best looking areas in the game, in my opinion. Anyway, I'll take this blue rupee from you and leave. Alright, let me just jump off. There we go. Now we shall go to the room with the red roof. The house, sorry. The house with the red roof. Oh yeah, another way you can get money? You can hop across these stones, and if you do it like that, you get money for it. So you actually do get monies for, like, putting these tutorials to practice. It's a pretty cool system. If you boldly go in the direction you want to jump, you will leap automatically. If you hop around on the stones, you'll become happier because you'll be filled with money. Hi, Link. Look this way. Look over here with Z and talk to me with A. Z, A. Yes, that's how you use a fairy. Oh, right. Fairies supposedly help the Kokiri look at stuff. Interesting. It's so great that you finally have a fairy partner. I'll teach you how to talk to people using your fairy. When a fairy flies near a person or thing, a noun, press Z to look in that direction. If you use Z targeting, you can talk to people from a distance, like we're doing now. When you have nothing that you can target, you can press Z just to look forwards. Try it. Yeah, I've been over this before, but the Z targeting thing was new information at least. I can't give you too much crap. Alright, you in the corner, what's your tips for buying? Shop. It sells things you can get in the forest for free. That is very true. A lot of those items can be gotten for free just from, like, cutting grass. Do you know how to use the Deku shield? At least the Deku shield you can't get for free. You get the shield, press start to go to the subscreen. Okay, yeah, we'll go over this in a bit. I love how this kid is so short, he can't fit over the counter. Why'd you build the counter this tall if it's designed for Kokiri to stand behind? I don't know. Did you get an adult from the outside to do it for you? But aren't outsiders not allowed? I'm not really sure. Anyway, the Deku shield is 40 rupees. Once you've collected 40 rupees from doing various things throughout the forest, you may buy it. You got a Deku shield. I really like the symbol on it. I think that's supposed to be like the Kokiri, yes. The Kokiri symbol. And it looks pretty cool. Press R to crouch and defend. If you press R while Z targeting, you can move while defending. Would you like to buy something? No! Let us equip the shield. That is our last slot here in the equipment menu. We have tunic, boots, sword, and shield. This isn't a super in-depth equipment system. There's only so many items you can put on that screen, and even so many items you can equip throughout the game. But yeah, here's one of them, at least the Deku shield. You can also do a little crouch stab with it, and there's a weird, interesting property with this crouch stab that I'll be going over at some point in the future. But yeah, here's the crouch stab. You can aim it in multiple directions. Pretty cool. Alright, well now we have a sword and a shield, so let's talk to Mido and get him out of our way. Let's go greet the Great Deku Tree. If you want to see the Great Deku Tree, you should at least equip a sword and shield. What's that? Oh, you have a Deku shield. And what's that? Is that the Kokiri sword? Yeah, I stole this treasure of our people. I hope you don't mind. Good grief! Well, even with all that stuff, a wimp is still a wimp, huh? I, the Great Mighty, will never accept you as one of us. Shoot, how did you get to be the favorite of Sari on the Great Deku Tree, huh? Alright, thank you for letting me by. Let's go meet the Great Deku Tree. But before we do... enemies that pop out of nowhere because we just passed a loading zone and so they literally appear out of thin air. These, if you talk to Navi while Z targeting an enemy, she will tell you about them. This is a Deku Baba, though it is a withered variety that is not as aggressive as normal. All you do is swipe them once and then they become an item, and you can carry them around in your pocket as a trophy. A Deku Stick. The uses for these are not obvious, but we'll be seeing them shortly, though you can swing them and they deal 4 times the damage of your sword, but they will break instantly. There's no reason to use it on these guys because these guys die in one hit no matter what, though. So there we go. And pow. Perfect. That gave me 3 Deku Sticks. Now if we open up the menu, we can see... sorry, my voice was a little weird there. We can select an item and then press one of the C buttons, or in my case, one of the buttons on an Xbox controller, to apply it to an inventory slot, or like a quick item slot. Then you can press that item slot to use the item, like so. And then we can swing and kill you. Or not. The stick phased right through you. I suppose hitting a stick with a stick maybe, like, cancels that. I don't know. Anyway, I did lose half a heart, so at least these guys deal a little more damage than the boulder did. Who knew? Plants were stronger than boulders. Great Deku Tree, I'm back. Oh, Navi, thou hast returned. Link, welcome. Listen carefully to what I, the Deku Tree, am about to tell thee. Thy slumber these past moons must have been restless and full of nightmares. As the servants of evil gain strength, a vile climate pervades the land and causes nightmares to those sensitive to it. Verily, thou hast felt it. Link, the time has come to test thy courage. I have been cursed. I need you to break the curse with your wisdom and courage. Dost thou have courage enough to undertake this task? No. Is what I would say if I wanted to be repetitive. Then enter, brave Link. And thou too, Navi. Navi the fairy, thou must aid Link. And Link, when Navi speaks, you see up to listen well to her words of wisdom. So I have to go inside of you and kill something? Alright, I'm sure I can handle it with my 3 hearts. First, let me take care of these guys on the outside of you. Pow! Give me those sticks. I hope to hold up a collection of like 10 or something. I think is that the default maximum of Deku Sticks? I think it might be, it's either 10 or 20. I don't know, we'll find out eventually. Pow! Kill you, and now, let's waste no further time, and get right into our first dungeon. I'm gonna let you listen to this ambience for a little while. It got interrupted a couple times there, but I hope you got it. Got the gist of it anyway. I will say, as much as I believe that Ocarina of Time has not held up as well as it could have, it has not aged perfectly like many would claim. One thing that has aged nigh perfectly is the sound design and the music. The sound design and music are both fantastic, and you will never hear me complain about those. Now let me open this up and equip our new item here, Deku Nuts. These can be thrown on the ground to stun enemies. Those new enemies there were just normal Deku Babas. They are the normal aggressive variety. They will try to bite you from a far distance, though they can't, their range isn't very, their range is not very high because they are a plant. If you attack them, they can either drop Deku Nuts or Deku Sticks, depending on how they die. It's a little weird, like, how they die sometimes. It feels like it's totally random when they, what way they choose to die and what item they choose to drop, but yeah, they can drop either Sticks or Nuts, is the point of all that. You can find rupees within the tree. Interesting, I don't know why. Anyway, right here. Look at this wall, the vines growing on it give it a rough surface. Maybe you can climb it. Like, that's not what I wanted to point out, but I guess that's good to know. You there! Skull Wallchilla, be careful not to touch it. So we can't climb this wall, but the Skull Wallchillas will be a bit of a menace. So I think we need another tool to take care of them. Maybe that tool is in this chest! Yeah, I could throw a scrap of paper at them. The dungeon map. I'm not sure why the Great Deku Tree has a map of his insides. Like, did he tell someone to do this? Did a Kokiri draw this? What? I don't know. I'm trying to imagine that conversation of just like the Great Deku Tree telling someone who wanders into the forest, "You there, you skilled cartographer, please enter me and draw a diagram of my organs." You can open a door by standing in front of it and pressing A. Pay attention to what the action icon says. That's the blue icon at the top of the screen. She likes to say that a lot at this point in the game. That might sound like an annoying tutorial, but to be fair, all the previous Zelda games never had you opening doors. Rooms would only have doors if you couldn't enter them at all. In other news, we have a new kind of enemy of sorts, a Deku Scrub. It will hide in the grass if you get close to it. Bounce the nuts, its bits back at it. It's kind of like a pea shooter from Plants vs. Zombies, except, well, I have a shield, and the pea shooters did not expect that, did they? Ow, 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 forgive me, master! If I give you a clue, will you let me go? I have to wait for the text to appear because I like to talk fast as these guys, but in this game, with the slow text speed, I can't talk fast without waiting for it to appear first. When you jump off a high cliff, if you hold control stick forward, you will roll on the ground when you land and you won't get hurt from the fall. I can't guarantee it will work, though, if the cliff is really, really high. Well, try it if you're feeling bold. Yeah, great tip. Thanks, buddy. At least you unlocked the door for me. That's nice. So there's our hearts. Anything else in here? No, I'm pretty sure there's nothing. I really like this about Ocarina of Time, how you are in a dungeon straight away, because if you know 3D Zelda games, you'll know that the vast majority of them take forever to get started. It is like hours of gameplay before you go into the first dungeon, and very often, there's some games like the Wind Waker where the first dungeon isn't even the real first dungeon. Like the Forsaken Fortress is mainly what I'm thinking of. Okay, we have a big chest there, but where does this set of vines go? Aha, I found the real treasure of this room. It's a recovery heart. Yeah, one thing I'm not a fan of about this game is all these hidden chests and dungeons that give you completely pointless bullshit you never need. It's a strange trend. They wanted to reward your exploration by giving you hidden things to find, but the vast majority of them suck. Anyway, this is the real treasure. They faked me out for a little bit there. You found the fairy slingshot. On the select item subscreen, we've been over this. Press C to take it out and hold. Can't fast forward this. No, can't I must listen to it. If you want to shoot right away, when you first press C, hold down C a little longer to get a seed red. I'd rather just mess around with it myself and see how it works in a safe environment, because you are giving me a safe environment to do so in, but it's fine. So we equip it to an item slot, and then we press a button, then we release the button, and it shoots. Beautiful, and then we can change where it's aiming. Basically, whatever's in the center of the slingshot slash, that's what you're aiming at. I guess it's a little off-center. Still, close enough. Now I think you can find Deku seeds. Yes, indeed, you can find these inside grass to refill your ammo. Small hard seeds you can use as bullets for your slingshot. I actually want to switch the slingshot to a different button there. I think that button would be more comfortable for me. Perfect, okay. I may have just been on a train of thought when I entered that room. Oh yeah, I'm just talking about how this game puts you in a dungeon straight away. It's very interesting how Ocarina of Time actually gets started really quickly compared to all the later Zelda games. Even my favorite, Majora's Mask, does take a while to get started. I accept it with that game because it's like, you know, you're entering a brand new world that you've never been in before, and Link has never been in before either. So, of course, you should spend a little bit of time to wander around the town and get to know the place. The town's also a very important location. All the characters there are very interesting, and you do have the challenge of finding where the Skull Kid is before time runs out, which is pretty cool. But still, you know, there's no actual combat. There's not a lot of adventuring out in the grand world of Termina just yet. And so there's a part of me that kind of prefers how quick and snappy this game's intro is. Like, you are in the first dungeon within the first half an hour. Like, I've only been playing for 40 minutes, and here we are. Now, granted, this first dungeon is very easy. This is a big Skulltula. Its backside is weak, and for some reason, it likes to turn around and show its backside to you, like the fucking idiot that it is. If you need, you can always, instead of doing that, yeah, that's what happens if you hit its front sides, you can use a Deku Nut on it and hit it with a sword, and I think that does more damage than the slingshot, I want to say. Let's try it on the next one, because there are more than one. There's one right over here. Hello. Ow! That's okay, recovery hearts are pretty common. Though it is probably most likely, sorry. Let me restructure sentence. You are most likely to die at this point in the game because you are being sent into a dungeon filled with enemies with only 3 hearts, which can be kind of overwhelming, though you get plenty of heals. I think it's perfectly balanced. Okay, we are locked into this room once again. But yeah, compared to, the whole point is, compared to later 3D Zeldas, I do like how Ocarina of Time gets started right away. I think it's very well done. This opening as a whole is very strong. And it's a great way to start, so yeah. We're definitely not getting into my big complaints with the game just yet, aside from the text speed. That's like my number one, but that's a complaint that is rampant throughout the whole game, so yeah. Okay, if we step on this button with an interesting looking symbol that I wonder how that made it in the game, we'll talk more about that later. Jump on these platforms. Hi-ya! And then, we have a big chest at the end here. Let's see what this has. The timer ran out during the cutscene. This is a blue hockey puck. Nah, it's a compass. I had a viewer on my Beat Majora's Mask in one sitting stream say that this looks like a hockey puck, and now I can never unsee it because, yeah, it is kind of true. I'm gonna take a sip of water. Very nice. Anyway, the compass will show you your location on the minimap in the lower right corner. Now, if we open up the inventory and look at the full map, which I have not actually shown yet, in the menu, it does not show your position here for whatever reason. Oh, I think it... No, it actually doesn't. It doesn't show the room you're in. Curious. Anyway, we can see that the tree has a basement. Very interesting. I'm assuming that's the intestinal tract. I know, it's a tree. It's not... it's not built like an animal, because it isn't an animal, it's a plant. But, you know what I mean. I'm having fun. Let me have fun. Oh, I know the perfect way to take these guys out with the thing, actually, is to hit them with the Deku sticks so that they do, like, you do quadruple damage to them. I think the Deku sticks might also have slightly longer range. Anyway, the other use for Deku sticks... let's see what Navi has to say about this. I think she will have something to say about it. It looks like that torch was burning not too long ago. Let me just get, eventually, there we go! Light it up, up! And the door opens. And the door is also on fire! I don't know. Alright. However, that is not the end of everything that is in this room. As we can see, there is actually a chest here. Oh yeah, it's this chest. Very interesting. And then we have a new, pretty special enemy behind it. Recovery heart, thank you. Well, the real reward is this guy. So this is a golden Skulltula. Curiously, you cannot Z-target them, and I don't know why. But if you kill them, they drop a token. You destroyed a gold Skulltula. You got a token proving you destroyed it. There are 100 of these gold Skulltula tokens, or 100 gold Skulltulas that drop a token throughout the game. What do? You'll have to wait and see. It's just like star pieces in Paper Mario. I have to say, when I watched a playthrough of Paper Mario, I was thinking that star pieces... There we go, I one-shot them with the Deku stick. Pretty cool. I was thinking that star pieces would be a lot more important, like, important of an item in universe than they ended up being. Because, you know, it feels a little special to have this star piece, a piece of a star that fell in the world. And so I thought they would have some kind of connection to, like, the magic spirits or whatever, the star spirits, I guess, in that game's case. But all they ended up being used for in gameplay was just a currency for some shop. It was a little disappointing to find out what they were for, even after especially after the game said, wait and see what the star pieces are for. Anyway, though, the golden Skulltulas are a little little tiny bit more interesting than that. I don't know. You'll have to judge when we see it. So right here, we have something pretty cool. That cobweb platform down there is something below that. Sorry, hiccuping. That's the way to the basement, the intestines of the Great Deku Tree. There is no way to destroy that easily. I think you can pick up fire from a torch, bring it down there and burn it off, but the main way you're supposed to do it is climb all the way up to the top of the room and jump on it. And I think this is actually pretty cool. Because then, like, you know, the weight of your momentum from falling is enough to snap the cobwebs and cause you to fall through it. I think that's a really cool way of doing things because it makes you think a lot about 3D space and how you can use it to your advantage, and the game will expand upon that more in this puzzle. Because again, Ocarina of Time was a game that was designed to kind of introduce people, console gamers especially, to the concept of a 3D game. The 3D game certainly existed before it. A lot of console gamers, especially Zelda fans, weren't quite used to it yet. So this game was designed to, like, get people accustomed to 3D space. And so they did that by having various puzzle solutions rely on the concept of 3D space to work properly. And I think that's cool. And we have another one coming up right here, as I just said. But first, we have you. We got this gold skull as well as the other guy. That's 3 gold skull chola tokens already. Just the first frickin' hour of the game. I think it's possible to auto-complete that text box. I'll have to try it again next time. Alright, burn that away. Let's get the small chest behind it. Perfect. What does it have? Bunch of bullshit? Yep, bunch of bullshit. I mean, you only have 3 hearts. Healing items are nice to have, but still. it's a bunch of BS. Okay. So, there's cobweb blocking that door. That platform is too high for us to climb up. Again, with that interesting symbol, I don't know how it made it. Anyway, if we want to, use the Deku stick, then we want to jump on the shallow part of the water because the rest of the water is too deep and the stick will burn out if we go inside of it. This is yet another case where the game's making you look at 3D space because, you know, you can stand on a platform in the shallow part of the water, that at least the part of the water that is visually shallow, and you can hold the fire above it, which you can then use to propel yourself to the other side without it burning out from the water. It's pretty cool. I like the puzzles in this first dungeon. A lot of people criticize this first dungeon for being too easy, and I personally don't understand. Like, yeah, it is the easiest dungeon in the game, but it's the first dungeon. Of course it's gonna be easy, and you're playing it in the first 30 minutes of the game. It's like the bit in Hyrule Castle and Link to the Past was pretty easy too. Mostly easy. I mean, that game was hard, but, you know, it was easy relative to the rest of that game's content. Spare me, I'll teach you something cool. You will never beat my brothers up ahead unless you punish them in the proper order. The order is 2, 3, 1. 23 is number 1. Do you think I'm a traitor? Yes. You just betrayed your freaking brothers up ahead. Of course you're a traitor. That's what being a traitor is. I believe that 23 as number 1 code is a reference to a basketball team. I can't remember the exact details, but it is referencing something in the realm of sports ball, so yeah, there you are. Now here we have kind of an interesting puzzle. Navi will say, if you walk up to this door, strong iron bars are blocking the door. You can't open them with your hands. But you can open them with your eyes. No, that doesn't work. I don't look at the eye and it doesn't open. Damn it. Okay, what if I shoot the eye? You'll shoot your eye out, kid! That's the answer. You have to shoot the eye with a slingshot pellet and it opens up. Okay, now here we have Navi. After you get into the water, if you hold down A, you can dive. I bet there's some interesting things underwater. That is good to know. I only swam through the water briefly in the previous room without actually telling you how it works. So, under the water is this button over here. If we dive, we can dive straight down and press it. You can only dive underwater for a certain amount of time. You cannot be underwater for very long. That is just a thing. You must swim at the surface of the water most of the time. Can that platform come back? Thank you. Must avoid the wooden spikes. With the water lowered, we are now able to cross under these spikes easily like that. Or, you know, we're able to cross under those spikes without dying. Without being hit. Not dying. It would not kill you instantly. I mean, you know, if we were younger, maybe it could hurt more. Even then, actually, I don't think it would. Alright, let me pick that up. Hi-yah! A yizzle! More Deku seeds. Man, they really want to make sure I have enough slingshot ammo, which makes sense. Here's a block, and now he's going to tell us how to stand next to this block or grab a hold of it with A while holding A. You can push it or pull it. Yeah, if you stand next to the block and press A while pressing control stick towards the block, you can climb on top of it. Pay attention to what the action icon says. Yep. Understood. Man, I always climb these blocks when I mean to push them because I keep, like, pushing the control stick against them for a little too long. It's very funny, but yes, push control stick against it, press A, climb it up, and then don't press A to climb that ledge because that's automatic, because it's not a block. It's very weird how it works, but that's how it works. Hello, you are normal Deku Baba. Okay. I can't remember if the mini Deku Babas are in this game. I suppose we'll have to see. Is that... No, okay, you're the withered one, yeah. Majora's Mask has an enemy that's a mini Deku Baba that always drops, Deku Nuts. I can't remember if those are in Ocarina of Time, too. They probably are, wouldn't be surprised if they are, but yeah. You can look at the ceilings of rooms. You should start doing this in the later dungeons. There's nothing on the ceilings in this one, but in the later dungeons, there might be something easily missable. Oh my god, the camera rotation. Man. I keep, like, tapping Z because I'm used to how Majora's Mask controls, but the freaking camera rotation works slightly different in this game, and it's just enough to trip me up. Alright, let me open up. Hello there. Okay, stun you, get behind you, Deku stick you in the back. Perfect! Okay. I do like how the first items we were getting are nothing but a bunch of, like, crafted wooden things. It reminds me a lot of Minecraft. Even though Minecraft should remind me of this game. You know what I mean. If we look up on the ceiling, just like I told you to do in the previous room, yeah, look at those. Those are eggs. Let me show you. We can destroy them with the slingshot. Why would we want to do this? Well, whenever we're near them, they're playing ominous battle music. So that's part of why. If you go underneath them, they will drop and hatch into these guys. These are Goma larvae. Look out when it gets ready to pounce, which you can tell by their eyes turning red. Think you then want to just shoot them in the eye? It'll hurt them. I don't think you can hit them anywhere. Ow! I don't think you can hit them anywhere. Ow! I think that's a general tip. Okay, maybe you can. I don't know. They always face you, so it's easy to hit their eyes. Alright, we killed both of them just fine. You got any recovery hearts in here? Oh yeah, something else you can do with the sword that may have been explained out in Kokiri Forest is you can hold B, hold it back like this, and release it to do a little spinny attack. It's not the most useful thing as it is right now. It doesn't become all that useful later on, but it's there. Alright, hello there. So this is an interesting looking stone wall behind you. Why would we have to burn this off? And why does that sound so high-pitched compared to the others? I mean, that's just a wooden sound, but that's a very interesting sound there. I wonder if that'll be important for hitting the interesting sound for hitting that wall. Just to be clear, in case it wasn't clear. I like to be clear with my commentary, and that results in me repeating a lot of stuff. Okay, we got another thing to crawl through here. There's not a lot to say during these crawling moments, because not a lot goes on during them. Like, that's the crawling. That's the crawling, all right. That's the crawl animation. We're going from one room to another. Ow! Okay. Can I Deku stick you in the face for doing that to me? That did not kill you. Okay. I guess it put you in a stunned state. Then I could finish you off with the thing, you know. Finish you off with the sword to get a Deku stick. I don't know. I'm not really sure how that works. Okay. Now we have looped back to this room and we have this block we can push. The reason why we want to push this block is because there's another thing of webs on the floor to our right. And we need some way to destroy those, but unfortunately, this room is not tall enough to use the power of gravity on it, so instead, we must connect these two areas, pick up fire with the torch, bring it across. There we go. And then I think you can swing down at it, or you can roll on it. Either way, it works, and you won't take any fire damage in the process. Now let's jump down, because I think there's water at the bottom. Indeed there is. There's also a couple of recovery hearts, so you can pick them up from the surface. Interesting. And then right here we have 3 Deku Scrubs. Remember what the guy said earlier? 23 is number 1. So you are the second one. Bam. I believe you are number 3, because that just makes sense. I wonder if the order would be different in Japan because they read from right to left. Maybe not, I'm not really sure. I don't know how I angled that properly, but I guess I did. I wasn't actually locking onto him. How did you know our secret? How irritating! It's so annoying that I'm going to reveal the secret of Queen Goma to you. In order to administer the coup de grace to Queen Goma, strike with your sword while she's stunned. Oh, Queenie. Sorry about that! Goma shall never respect you again. Those guys have disappeared. Alright, with our full store of health, on probably nothing that we need in any of this grass. I don't think you can get Deku nuts or sticks from grass. I think it's only Deku seeds, only rupees, only recovery hearts, things like that. Deku nuts and sticks have to be gotten from the Deku Babas, mostly. But yeah, with all of that done, let's go into the ominous skull doors we can see on the map. So what part of the tree is this exactly? Why does it have a door that can lock? Is this the water collection bit? And is it all dried up right now because of the curse that has been placed on the tree? Probably. Now you hear that sound? Let's look for it. Our first boss, Goma. Let's see what Navi has to say about her. It's one of the parasitic monsters inside the Deku tree. Its eye is vulnerable when it's red, so when its eye's red, you shoot it. Okay, before it can give birth to babies. Then when it's stunned, you slash its eye. Typical rule of thumb in a Zelda game is if a boss has a giant eye, attack that. Okay, then it's gonna climb on the ceiling, and what you wanna do is track it with your slingshot ready. So it'll pause somewhere and begin to give birth to more Goma larvae like we fought before. While it does so, its eye is red, attack it, and then jump attack it for double damage, twice for good measure, and then a bunch of normal attacks, and that's it! Oh my god, that's it! I remember when I played Ocarina of Time for the first time, I fought this boss. I was amazed at how quick it went down compared to Majora's Mask's first boss. Like, wow. I will agree, that boss is a little too easy. The dungeon is fine difficulty, I think, but that boss is like nothing. I mean, if you don't know how to aim yet, it can be a little tough. I have seen some people struggle with it, and it's perfectly understandable if you do struggle with it, but like, as long as you just shoot it and you do jump attacks, it goes down so easy. For defeating a boss, you get a heart container. Your maximum life energy is increased by 1 heart. Your life energy will be totally filled. Yeah, you got that right. It's life energy, not health. Life energy. Link's not dying when it hits 0. He's losing energy. He's passing out, just getting a little tired. You understand the difference? Alright, let's take this portal out of here. Why do trees have this inside of them either? I don't know. Well done, Link. Thou hast verily demonstrated thy courage. I knew that thou wouldst be able to carry out my wishes. Now, I have yet more to tell ye. Wouldst thou listen? Of course. Now, listen carefully. A wicked man of the desert cast this dreadful curse upon me. This evil man ceaselessly uses his vile sorcerous powers in his search for the sacred realm that is connected to Hyrule. For it is in that sacred realm that one will find the divine relic, the Triforce, which contains the essence of the gods. Before time began, before spirits and life existed, 3 golden goddesses descended upon the chaos that was Hyrule. Din, the goddess of power. Nehru, the goddess of wisdom. Thoror, the goddess of courage. Din. With her strong, flaming arms, she cultivated the land and created the Red Earth. Nehru poured her wisdom onto the earth and gave the spirit of law to the world. Faror, with her rich soul, produced all life forms who would uphold the law. The three great goddesses, their labors completed, departed for the heavens, and golden sacred triangles remained at the point where the goddesses left the world. Since then, the sacred triangles have become the basis of our world's providence, and the resting place of the triangles has become the sacred realm. Thou must never allow the desert man in black armor to lay his hands on the sacred Triforce. Thou must never suffer that man with his evil heart to enter the sacred realm of legend. That evil man who cast the death curse upon me and sapped my power. Because of that curse, my end is nigh. Though your valiant efforts to break the curse were successful, I was doomed before you started. Yes, I will pass away soon, but do not grieve for me. I have been able to tell you of these important matters. This is Hyrule's final hope. Link, go now to Hyrule Castle. There, thou will surely meet the Princess of Destiny. Take this stone with you. The stone that man wanted so much that he cast the curse on me. You got the Kokiri's Emerald. This is the spiritual stone of the forest, now entrusted to you by the great Deku tree. The future depends upon thee, Link. Thou art courageous. Navi the fairy, help Link to carry out my will. I entreat ye, Navi. Goodbye. Let's go to Hyrule Castle, Link. Goodbye, great Deku tree. So, it wasn't me! Hey, Link, what did you do? The great Deku tree, did he die? How could you do a thing like that? It's all your fault! This is such a good opening to the game. It gets you in the action really quick. All the tutorials, almost all the tutorials, are optional. Your first taste of combat and whatnot is, like, decently challenging enough to, you know, get your puzzle brain working early on, but not so challenging it's like you can never figure it out. It's like, and the plot is really good too, like, you know, you go to meet your guardian father figure almost in the form of the Great Deku Tree, you go inside him as the first dungeon, you defeat the boss inside him, but then he ends up dying anyway, and now you have to leave the forest you've lived in your whole life in order to start your journey. Like, this is such a great opening to the game. I really like it, on the whole. Let me see if anyone else has anything to say before I truly wrap up, because I will end the video here. Yeah, the videos in this series are not going to be as long as my others. What? Where are you going? To the castle? Where is the castle? It's somewhere in the Lost Woods, trust. Hey, you done trying to pick up this rock? Maida was very upset. Did something happen to him? Not to him, but... you okay, Maida? Did you come back home? Gotta slide the headset down my head. Hey, what are you doing in my house? I mean, that's a good question. I'll leave. I won't bother you any more than I already have. Unfortunately, Link is a silent protagonist, so no, we cannot explain to the people that, in fact, we did not kill the Great Deku Tree. It was the freaking guy from the desert who did. Are you going to the castle? Where's the... Okay, you say the same thing. You on the bridges. I think you say something different, don't you? We'll go talk to you, and then we'll wrap up. How's that sound to everyone? Whether it sounds fine or not, I don't care. I'm doing it anyway. Alright. Let me not fall off the bridges this time. I've been through a dungeon. I can handle bridges. Barely, apparently, because I'm not holding the control stick as straightforward as I should be. What did you do to the Great Deku Tree? That's it. That's all I came up here for. Well, you are accusing me of killing the Great Deku Tree, so I guess I got what I wanted in a way. Well then, that will be the first episode of Ocarina of Time. Next time, we shall exit Kokiri. I forgot the game's camera doesn't want me to face it. Ah, man, that's annoying. It is worth noting you can save at any time by opening the pause menu and doing that. Perfect. All right. Next time on The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, we shall venture out of Kokiri Forest into the lands beyond in search for Hyrule Castle. Thank you all for watching if you did, and as always, I will see you all in the future.